Whiskeys? Steven? Wesley? Peter? Anybody else? Cheers to your show.
Down the hatch.
Oh, I was told just to drink mine. Apparently it wasn't celebratory.
Yes,
now they're celebrating.
You can still adjust anybody else.
Do what you want, man.
Thanks, bro.
You're your own fucking guy. Do whatever you want.
No, I'm not supposed to be my own fucking
And should it
guy
be what I
tonight.
hear in
You're
my phones?
Guy.
I do whatever the fuck I want.
Okay.
I like to.
Whenever
I'm usually
the fuck
beer
I
right
want.
after. I enjoy the
9:30,
You don't like
9:45.
that? That's my yeah.
9:52. As long as it's between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, I do whatever I want, whenever I
Oh,
want.
me too. I had to stop though. Too much gut rot after a while. Like it starts on like Pepsi or Coke, and then you go to ginger, and then you still get it after too much of that. And then you just start drinking it straight.
Wow, that's lovely.
What'd you get? What's the red one?
Nice,
Paddle?
Blonde.
Back paddle, blonde ale.
Mine's an IPA, Portage. I'm gonna save it for mid-show.
Yes, I'm Ipa Kista. I'm from Northern Holland.
Portage. It's better than being fingered.
Yeah, fuck, I know. I wonder how many beers do they have?
Did you say coffee?
Hoppy.
Oh, hoppy. There's a coffee beer at
New Limburg, yeah. Cal's mom loves it. Oh, that's like a Guinness lover's beer, right?
They have a chocolate stout at Ramblin' Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, not very good.
No. I just went there for lunch the other day.
It's good,
It is fucking dynamite. Hey, Paulcha, you ever go there for lunch?
The food's good. The beer is
No, the beer's terrible. The food is awesome, though.
I don't mind the beer.
No, the potato one is the only one I ever
Yeah,
have.
I don't like any of them.
No.
Not one.
I agree with you. It's not great, eh? Which one? IPA? I think that's what Cal had, the cream or the IPA, and she liked it.
Yeah.
Whatever, yeah. But yeah, her mom likes whatever that red one is there.
Oh, the red, yeah.
It's like a heavier one.
I like going into those places and saying, I want the one that's like the most like
this
Bud
is cranked
Light.
right up.
And everybody's like, you're an asshole,
Pass.
right?
The whole bar goes quiet. Like what? Bud Light. That's
Okay.
You're not
Cool.
allowed to even say that.
That's when like people come over and that's all I got in my fridge. They're like, oh, you don't have like craft this and that. I'm like, if you don't want the beer, I'll drink them all. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I'll drink a craft beer too, but I'm not filling
All
my fridge
right.
with
Well, I
them.
think we're going, guys. All right.
Yeah?
Wait, let me just see here. I think we might be. I think we might be on. I don't know.
You think we're live? You think
We
we're
are
doing
live.
You think we're doing it live?
We are doing it live.
Just wants Pete.
Well, I don't see that feed, anyways.
Want to share the
Oh, we're a little bit behind. Okay, see, it's going now. We should get. We should get going here.
Hi, Steve. There's your big shot.
There we are.
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. I've got the looks that drive girls wild. I've got the moves that really move them. I send chills up and down their spines. Cause I'm a sexy boy. Sexy boy. Yeah, I'm your boy toy. Boy toy. Hell, I'm a sexy boy. Sexy boy. Yeah, I'm your boy toy. Boy toy. I make 'em hot. I make 'em shiver. The knees get weak whenever I'm around. They see me walk. They hear me talk. I make 'em feel like they're on cloud nine. Cause I'm a sexy boy. Sexy boy. Yeah, I'm your boy toy. Boy toy. Yeah, I'm your sexy boy. Sexy boy. Not just a boy toy. Boy toy.
You know, I think there's something in all of us, you know, as adults. Like little things in our life that we'll do, like maybe it's an ice cream cone, like a tiger tail ice cream. Maybe it's a song, maybe it's a smell or cotton candy. But whatever it is, it's something from our youth that we remember, and it makes us feel young, like a kid again, you know?
Yeah.
And wrestling for me is that thing.
Fuck yeah.
Professional wrestling,
Always on his
as
mind.
embarrassing as it is what I love. And today on our show, we have a comic and a guy who's even more of a wrestling nut than I am. Wally Warwick has come down from Brantford. And we're really happy to have him here. And we also have the greatest band in Canadian late night history,
Damn right.
the Nocturnal Emission.
Since open mic with Mike Bullard.
But there's only one way we can get this great show started, fellas.
How's that, Pete?
It's a little thing we call the theme song. You know how it goes?
Like this, I think.
Everybody, welcome to Canada's only late night talk show.
Yeah.
Live from the Dutch Hall. We are not only the greatest podcast ever to come out of a pool shed in Pine Grove, Ontario, but as I said, we are the greatest show in Canadian late night history. I'm going to say it right now. And we are that way because we have the greatest band in Canadian late night, the Nocturnal Emission.
Sure do.
Oh, and they're comprised of a great lineup today. I say an all-star lineup.
They come in their sleep, guys.
On lead guitar, weighing 200 or so pounds, hailing from Turkey Point, Rhodish. Steve the Reluctant German on lead guitar, everyone.
Yeah, Steven.
And all the way from the greater Glenshee area, weighing 210 pounds. He is magnificent Michael Bowe. Next to him is a man that requires no introduction. From Delhi, Ontario, at an even 250 pounds, Whiskey West Hagen.
Yeah.
And this week on percussions, a man from Norwich, Ontario, weighing 150 pounds, soaking wet. He's the man that saved the sound of Live from the Dutch Hall. Kevin Belanger, everyone. And as always, hailing from behind my bar, weighing 269 pounds. Oh, yeah. Paul the Punch Van Dyke.
I would be the bad guy. I'm assuming you're the villain. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Missing tonight, hailing from Burford, Ontario.
Nope.
This man weighs at least 335 or 7 pounds of disgusting filth. He is Dave, the Pierogi Charter. They call him that because he's made mostly of potatoes and cheese.
It's Polish.
And as I said, our guest tonight, he's a great comedian. He's here promoting his special, Worse Than Hitler. He's a comedian that runs a show in Brantford at Amsterdam. You can see him there on Tuesday nights. And we're lucky to have him as our guest. Wally Warwick is here.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
And I am your host from Pine Grove, Ontario. He is the 2-time President's Club Award winner.
Oh, shit.
Leapin' Pete Van Dyke.
The genius.
That is beautiful. That's an opening.
I think we've done one of
You guys
those.
are
That's how you
awesome.
open a
Well
show.
done, Kev.
They should have you on the launch.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Live from the Dutch Hall really turned it up a notch this week. I tell you, you guys, number one, I got to tell you, the band tonight, you came prepared. Michael was just, he came prepared. Steven against his will.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, against his will, it was really a struggle to convince Steve, the reluctant German, to give up wrestling a song. It was between this week. It was between this week we had to do a wrestling song, or we did a live from the Dutch Hall tradition, where we would salute a person who had passed away in the music business. And coming right off the death pool, the live from the Dutch Hall death pool, and Dolores from the Cranberries.
It's a shame.
Yeah, it's a tragic story.
Also a shame nobody big winner in the death pool. That's right.
No, and who of us in this room laughed at Beaver when he made his pick of a whole bunch of young people in perfect health?
Exactly.
Right? And there you go. If anyone would have had the Cranberries on that list, we would have laughed him out of the room. You know?
We would have.
But then there she is. She passed away. So, but the reason we didn't open with it, I'll tell you, it boils down to this reason.
Couple things.
Number one, we were going to talk about subject matter being pro wrestling, and to play a Cranberries song that would be kind of like sad in its nature, right? And then as a mother dying of tragic death, at a young age, it's not a way to start a comedy show.
It's a real tough.
So I decided to start about talking about it, eh? Yeah.
His work.
Yeah. Dummy. Anyways, we're supposed to talk about two things in order to do our thing where we're trying to like gain more listeners by like catching on to the latest trends and what's going on in the world.
Right.
Uh-oh.
And what our listeners have done this week, two different listeners have sent us topics to discuss at this portion of the show.
Oh, really?
Which has never happened.
Both listeners of the show sent
Both
in
listeners.
topics.
Yeah, two different listeners. Actually, two people sent one topic, the same topic, and one person sent the other topic. And so we're going to talk about them both, which is kind of like feedback, but it's not exactly, right? Feedback. All right. So, but I'm going to say it's the first topic is that of Tide Pods in your mouth.
Oh,
Yep.
wow, yeah.
You know? They said kids are eating Tide Pods or something like that, right?
Yep.
And now all the parents on Facebook got their nuts in a knot about their kids eating Tide Pods on Facebook. Number one, I did the research on this because it's a professional show now.
Dutch Hall facts.
Yeah, these are not
Now
even.
it's a professional show. Now, when did that happen? For you?
Well, when we went into our fifth season, we decided to turn up a notch.
This is the 5th season.
Yeah, we're in season 5.
Oh my goodness! I got to tell you, this is not at all what I imagined.
What did you think it would be?
I thought because it was like Simcoe, Delhi kind of area that we were actually in a Dutch hall.
Oh yeah.
And that there was an actual bartender. We were at an actual bar, and I did not expect to be at your house tonight. Thank you for letting me know where you live.
No, you actually are in the Dutch Hall.
Yeah, that is one of the drawbacks of having the show in a pool shed in my backyard is that people will know where I live afterwards. Yeah. And it's like, it's actually, I find because I have a big house that people will not want to book me.
Right.
Yeah, especially or not want to pay me.
Well, because you're not struggling
Yeah.
in the slightest.
And like most of the people,
You're going to headline my show at Amsterdam for nothing.
Yeah.
Actually, you're going to pay me for the spot.
yeah, I know.
If anything.
See what I did? That's what I mean. That's what happens, and then I feel bad, and then, but that's why I don't want to say anything because no one's
Yeah.
gonna laugh at you.
Well, it's good to see that your comedy really comes from struggle.
It's mental struggle more than financial struggle. You know, like I
Like,
still,
how do I deal with all my money?
yeah,
Mentally, of course.
yeah. No, but what I'm saying is, you know, Pavlov's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, of course I do. Fucking take one look at me. Take one look at me and tell me that I do not know Pavlov's something about needs.
Yeah. Well, that's what it. You want me to tell you about it?
Yeah, I would love you to tell me about it.
Because Pavlov's hierarchy of needs, it says if when you're struggling, you want to survive. You're at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
And then so you just want food and shelter and like clothing, you know. And then as you move up, then you want stuff like you want like companionship and safety, stuff like that, right? And you go up and you want like good health or something, and then you go up to the top and you got nothing you can complain about anymore, and then you find self-actualization becomes your like thing. You know what I mean? Like, and then you get into your own brain because you think about it all the time, like how I could be like fulfilled or some bullshit like that, right? And then you go crazy, and that's how the pattern works. Money doesn't help you. Then that's why I cut it off.
Oh,
Because at one point in
sounds
time,
like Pavlov's kind of a dick.
yeah, well, it shows you how when you're chasing money, it doesn't help you be happy. You know what I mean? It doesn't help. My belief in life, from having made money and then being miserable,
Yeah,
and then now making no money
yeah,
and being happy
yeah,
ish.
yeah. Because your wife makes money.
No, it's not what it is at all. It's not what it is at all. That is what everyone makes fun of me about,
Right.
which is if you're going to do a roast about Pete Van Dyke, you make fun of how I mooch off my wife, right? That's the joke. Haha. It's funny, but it's also ill.
Meat tray's in the fridge, by the way.
It's also she's a loving woman, and we're a great team. And people that just shows you don't know anything about what I did before, like
Oh, what you call me out now?
what?
You call me out?
Yeah,
Oh, you don't know about me?
well, it's
You
true.
don't fucking know about me.
You
It-
ain't bad. You ain't nothing.
What?
Ain't nothing.
Well, I did things.
You don't know about me.
He's a two-time President's
This
Club
is what I really
Award
did.
winner.
To be honest with you, I used them to get me to do this.
You used who? Your family? You use your
No, I
family?
used the bank. I'm sorry. I should explain this. I worked as a banker for a while. For people that don't listen to the show, I worked as a
Right.
banker for like 15 years, and I made money doing that. But I didn't spend it all because I knew I didn't want to be there because it was horrible. You know, when I went there, I said I'd be there for 5 years. I would like save as much money as I can so I could do something else, and it turned into 15 somehow, and I felt really shitty about it. And I could see I was going that way where I would end up feeling shitty 30 years in, you know, because I was
Yeah.
getting close to that part where you got the pension and stuff coming, you know. Anyways, this is
yeah,
enough
yeah.
topic, but it's okay. And then but this was the plan. Like eventually, I wouldn't have to do that shit anymore because I would do good things with my money.
Yeah.
Right?
So you did it smart, and you got out before you got a pension.
Yeah, the fact that my wife's a workaholic has nothing to do with me because I can't stop that woman from working no matter what I do, and it has nothing to do with money for her either. She just wants to work. She just is like an Energizer bunny. She is really, you can't stop her. She's got, yay, Paul, you know her.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, we were talking about Tide Pods.
Tide Pods.
So this is a Tide Pod thing.
Back to them.
Back to the Tide Pod. We got to get into it. Number one, I said to my daughter, have you heard of the Tide Pod issue? And my daughter says, that's a bunch of malarkey, you know?
Which daughter?
Your
One
daughter
that's
says
in high school?
malarkey.
No, she didn't say malarkey. She said it's not true. She said it's just a lie, you know? That's what she said.
Yeah.
Really. She wouldn't say malarkey. That sounds like something an old man would say. And then, anyway, she tells me it's a bullshit or whatever. So I go, how do you know that, you know? And then, so I Snopes it, because Snopes tells the truth. That's what I believe. And all my Stephen Harper facts, I believe Snopes on the internet, right? So I go to Snopes, is it true? Snopes says, verified fact, it's true. And this is how the origin story is. These kids, there's like challenge videos online.
Yeah.
And then they said, put this in your mouth. That's a challenge, right? Put it in
Yeah.
your mouth. And then, so they put
My dad was the same way. Like, just put this in your mouth. It's a challenge.
Yeah. Aw. You played Kiss
Yeah.
for a molestation story?
I was.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
My dad's dead.
No,
Wait a
he was
second.
talking about his dad molesting
Wait.
him, and
I'm
then
talking about Prince.
Why
Prince
is
is
this where I find out my father has died?
Well, he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
He was a bit of a diddler, I heard.
Oh, it's good for him to be dead.
Is your dad really alive or dead?
I thought you were going to ask.
No,
is
no.
your
Let's
dad
go
really
Tide
a
Pods.
Hitler?
We're gonna get Tide Pods done. We have two things to do. We gotta get Tide Pods done. We'll do it quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number one, it's not bullshit. These idiots put the thing in their mouth, right?
Oh, fuck yeah. They
Cereal
do.
bowls.
And then they really
Yes.
what?
They have like squeezed them into cereal bowls and they'll eat them. They're
No.
fucked.
And I went over
I like
to
the echo on fucked.
I went over to a friend's house last week, like a fellow tradesperson. I was just having a couple beers with him, and his kids are hanging around with us. And I asked them about the Tide Pod Challenge, and I guess it all comes down to like one thing that they say, and I guess it's something along the lines of like, oh, I could go for a light snack, and then you take the Tide Pod. I guess like to them, it is a meme, and I had this explained to me by like a teenager. This is a meme to them. It's along the same lines as planking.
Planking?
Yeah.
What's that? I thought it was like
Isn't
a
that a
yoga
workout
thing,
move?
right? Yeah.
Oh, no. Planking for a while was like you took a picture of yourself in the most like obscure place, planking on top of something like a statue or shit. Like people actually died doing this planking thing that was like huge. Like I don't know, maybe 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, that's well. Anyways, yeah, I don't understand these kids. Is my point, you know?
No, not at all.
And like 40 of them got poisoned. Like 40 of them had to go get.
For sure they
get. That's how many people were treated for it so far since January.
That's reported. Yeah.
40 kids between 13 and like 16 or something.
Yeah.
Idiots, you know, like just dummies. They put poison in their mouth and they're.
No.
Anyways, so I don't know what to
there's
say.
There's a
about
new one to this though.
What, they're putting more stuff in their mouth?
No. There's like an offshoot of the eating the Tide Pod thing. I've seen one video of a guy doing a dab of a Tide Pod, and now the I guess new thing that's actually catching on and is like a major portion of it is vaping Tide Pods. So you'll get a guy that takes like his vape pen.
Does it
or
get you
whatever.
high or something?
Oh fuck no! It is actually apparently more dangerous than just ingesting it like by eating it.
What? Like it's like they're just
now it's being
searching
heated
for the
up
most
and-
stupid thing you can do for the sake of doing it. You know,
Because kids have nothing to fucking live for. Apparently.
I don't know about that. It's like I think it goes back to that Pavlov's hierarchy of needs again. That's what I believe. This is all going to be about psychology.
Well, kids are
because
given everything now, right?
they don't need
need-
anything, so they're into this. Like now, I want to be like have so many likes on social media, so I
Yeah.
feel validated or
They're
whatever.
completely empty inside.
Well, it's sad. I don't think they all are, but it's just there's an element of the population for sure. But
Oh, yeah.
but anyways, Tide Pods are stupid. Do you have something to say?
No, I just wanted to know what number 2 was.
Number 2 is a big one I actually wanted
Nice
to
question,
talk about.
Steve.
Number 2 is Aziz Ansari and his sexual
Or
misconduct.
Aziz, I'm sorry.
Or I sneezed. I'm sorry, as Jim Jeffries said.
Don Cherry says.
Anyways, he wrote a book about like how to like pick up women in today's day and age or whatever.
Right.
And now I think did he win a Golden Globe?
Yes, he did.
He won one?
Yeah, for Master of None.
For Master of None, right?
Yeah.
So he,
Best actor in a series or something like that.
so this is the way I read the story. Are you aware of the story, Wally? Then too?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
Actually, I read the main article on Babe, which was the first one that broke with the actual quote unquote victim. So giving her side of the story, of course. I don't know the whole thing, of course.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is.
Was not there.
Okay, I'll tell you it as I understand it from what I read, and you tell me if you've heard any different. Okay?
All right.
So apparently, Aziz and this girl had agreed to go on a date. There was an agreement to go on a date. They went on the date and ended up at his apartment.
Yeah.
Correct?
They met at like a Hollywood party before that, and it had to do with she was a photographer, and she was shooting with a certain style of camera, and I guess he kind of like wasn't into her at first, but then noticed the style of camera she was using, and he himself owned the same type of camera.
So you use a similar, like some similar interest.
And that
game.
is what got them talking.
Right. Anyway, so that guy ended up going on a date with her. He's back at her place. He instigates sexual activity once they are trying to get sex once he gets into the place. Now I gotta stop you guys because I don't know nothing about dating at this point in time. Like I have been with one woman.
He apparently stopped the dinner early as well. Is the thing?
Okay.
Like he was rushing to get back to the place to do
to
whatever he
instigate
wanted to do.
the sex.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, yeah. I mean, now, does this sound out of if I haven't dated?
You want to toss
very
me a
much.
smoke there, Pete?
Huh?
Just toss me a cigarette.
Oh, and so I had. Sorry,
God damn it!
I'm not a good thrower. I'm not a good thrower.
Oh, that was the worst catch ever.
He's
The
not signed.
throw wasn't the
Jays
best.
next
The
year.
throw wasn't the best.
It's Okay.
So I ended up. So thank you.
Smoke fight.
Shit, that's smoke. So I ended up. So I want to ask you guys, like, on a date. By the time the girl agrees to come to your house, right? She agreed to come to your house, right? Like,
Right.
So is it fair to say there's some sort of implied consent once she agrees to go to your house, or is that not even? Like, do you assume some responsibility? This is so. I want to do this when I do Wheel of Dirtbags, because Wheel of Dirtbags, I'm having these female comics come in to talk about this, and I hate talking about a bunch of room of dudes,
Right.
Because then what the fuck do we know,
not
right?
Yeah, that's right.
But like, all I know as a dude.
All we know is being
Last
the
time I was
dirtbag.
Last time I was dating a girl, I was a teenager, and then the girls would always have to be convinced somehow that you want that to do something because it's all new. I was just a kid, so my frame of reference is like
No good.
It's horrible, but it also makes me think how horrible like young teenagers
Oh, yeah,
are. They're
it's-
so horny.
Oh,
and, like,
fuck yeah.
aggressive and stuff, you know. But you're just begging, like, please, I gotta come so bad, you know. Just do something, touch it, you know. Like when you're that age, you know.
Touch it.
I get it, but
Just
like,
fucking look at it.
Stay
look
away
at
from
it,
my
Look
daughter.
at it the right way. It'll go off.
You sons of bitches. So, anyways, Aziz brings this girl back. Long story short, I'm gonna make this short now. Long story short, she gives him oral sex, right? Oral sex.
At a certain point, but he kind of like coerced her into that.
He ate her
because-
pussy.
Yeah,
He
but,
ate her pussy, and she sucked his dick. That's
yeah,
what.
but
Those
like shortly, both of them apparently.
what?
Oh,
he,
yeah.
He didn't finish.
No. Like apparently, like he cleared off.
How are
like
these details available?
Oh, it's great.
She
What
gave
in
a
the
full detailed report to this. I think it's Babe.com. It's like a news site. I guess there's so many of them popping up now. I don't blame you for not knowing Babe.com. But no, apparently, like, they got back and, like, he had kind of, like, a bar top or whatever, and he sat her up on it, and then he, like, just started going down on her, and she's like, oh, this is all right, and then...
Well, by the way, can we? The man is like physically, like 135 pounds.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
He's a very unintimidating, like, sort of. Creature.
It depends on how you look at it.
I would say
though, because, like,
85%
his
of women could
stature
beat the shit out of him, though.
His stature in society kind of makes him a little more intimidating.
Well, that's probably how he got the date in the first place.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and
For sure.
So I'm not saying like if the guy was to do anything or like he forced her to do something, then of course he's wrong. Like there's no question about that. You know,
Right.
You can't like force a girl to do anything. But if you're like trying to convince her,
Yeah.
using tricks to suck your dick or to perform fellatio. Let's keep it clean for the people on Facebook or YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
So you go.
That's what we do best.
We'll do it now. Yeah, start being clean now.
Starting now.
And then, but if you're gonna like, if I was to say, for example, when I was a younger man, maybe I had these tricks, or let's just say I had a friend that had these tricks, right? Too late.
Charters.
And so, like, you'd have like 5 tricks, right? You'd say like, if you want to get the girl to put your penis in her mouth, you would be like, oh, like I heard it, you know, kiss it better, you know. You say something like that. Kiss. Yeah.
Are you fucking serious?
No, it never worked. It never worked.
Wow, I heard it. Put
He's
it
showing
in
his
your mouth,
age
please.
right now.
And then you go, then you'd say like, you go like this. You point at your penis and you go like, what is that? And you go like, and you go, I don't know. Why don't you taste it? You go
Oh,
like something like that.
Is this from like porn videos?
No. It was all created. I had like 5 different ones.
how
moves
old were
like
you at this point?
19.
19.
Yeah, it was just my first year of university, and I was like, these are my moves. These are what I'm gonna use.
Wow.
What was your go-to?
You would totally have been #MeToo by now.
Yeah, I think everybody would be, wouldn't
Oh,
they? Like,
for sure. For
at
sure.
a young age, like you would have done something that you're like,
I have to be so careful with my wife now.
what?
I have to be so careful with my wife now.
Not to like.
Oh, I don't want to trick her into anything or anything like that. I have her sign a form before we have
Yeah.
missionary intercourse.
I do a bit about it now. I don't want to do my material on the air, but I might. No, but I do a bit about no. Anyways, I want
Save
to
it
say
for Amsterdam.
for Aziz though,
Right.
the girl did not file the complaint until she saw him on the Golden Globes,
Right.
and then she felt she had to come forward.
But she
Right.
didn't actually file a complaint, like quote unquote. She tweeted about it, which seems to be the thing.
Well, no,
to
yeah,
do
that's what you do instead of
like
going
the
to
same
police.
thing happened to James Franco the same night. Like as soon as he won a Golden Globe, it was like boom, tweets about like you fucking did this, you fucking did that.
Yeah, but I would rather. Isn't it at the point now where we should just be hearing about regular dudes that are doing it? Because it's only like it's not even like famous. It's like if Louis C.K. was like at the level of say a lower level comedian, someone that doesn't have a special yet, but he's like a really good, well respected comic.
Right.
Like with Dave Attell, for example, who's a good comic,
Right.
but maybe not at this level of fame, like
Right.
universal notoriety of Louis C.K.
Yeah.
If Dave Attell was doing the same things Louis C.K. does, it wouldn't make the news because nobody would be as interested.
It would make the news, but it would just like make a splash for a couple of days. And this Aziz thing only for a couple of days hit the headlines. Like I've been reading the news every single day. There's been nothing since he came out and said, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
There's been nothing since then.
Yeah, and that's the other part I have to touch on. She sent him a text after saying that
Yeah.
she felt uncomfortable about the whole thing, and he said, "Oh, I totally misread that because I didn't pick up on that at all. I'm
Right.
very He was very apologetic."
But the thing about him is what I found in the article and what the woman was saying was there was one move that he kept doing in particular that I found a little bit offensive.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Where he goes and shoves two fingers like down her throat
Yeah.
and then goes to finger her.
Yeah.
Like
She told that too?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like you like there are some girls that are into like a certain amount of like choking or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But to repeatedly just like gag someone and then go for their
Fingers.
pussy. But and multiple times when you've done that, they say like, maybe don't. That kind of leads into a weird field, and I feel like maybe Aziz is a bit rapey.
Yeah, if you say don't, then that's it. The end of the story, right? If
Right,
she said don't.
but she didn't say don't. She was the one thing that's pointed out a
Yeah, he
lot
said
in the
didn't-
article is
didn't read the body
non-verbal
language. Yeah,
cues.
nonverbal.
Non-verbal cues.
What's that? Her shoulders were slightly slumped or something?
Yeah,
It's supposed to be a fucking...
yeah, but see, yeah. So, like, as a guy, like, how are you supposed to understand like non-verbal cues? Like, I've given non-verbal cues to a woman before and then wound up having sex.
What do you mean? You gave her verbal cues you didn't want to have sex?
No,
and then
no,
you
no.
had sex?
Non-verbal cues, like kind of pulling away, sort of thing, and then like they're aggressive enough about it, where like, well, fuck, I'll just get this over with. Like I've been in the same situation
Yeah?
with chicks, but
That never happens.
not to the point where it seems in the Aziz story, where like he was kind of following her around after like
Girls just insist that you fuck them, man.
it goes. Oh well, no, back
Just
in the day.
nonstop.
It happened a couple of times. It
Your
only
wife's
happened a couple
listening
of
to this,
times.
too.
Oh yeah, I know she's listening. She's watching. Hi, Chanel.
Yeah.
But no, it's happened to me before with really aggressive chicks, and it's just like, okay, I just want this to be done with, so you let them do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
But it's never been to the point in that sort of situation with me where I'm being followed around a domicile as like I'm trying to run away from each thing. So like it's kind of segmented because like this all went in different segments of the evening where like he would do something and she'd
Yeah,
be
that's how
like,
a
kind of
date-
like no. And so they would
But
go
that's-
and like cool off on the couch for a little bit. And he'd be like, no, it's okay. And then he'd be like,
Okay, Wally.
I think
Wally.
I think Wally should be his fucking lawyer for fuck's sake. He's
No.
got
Oh
all
no
the
no no
facts.
no
Sounds like
no!
you
If I was
studied
his
the
lawyer,
case.
it would be
Got all-
bad
all
for
the
him.
Fucking
did.
Matlock on this shit.
All right. So wait one
Angela
second.
Lansbury.
Wait 1 second. Now, you brought up a point I want to address, which is you said that through stages he made advances, right?
Right.
That's what you said. If you're on a date with a girl, isn't there a bit of ebb and flow to try to, like, see how far you can get with her?
Correct,
Like
but
that-
there
when you
was,
go to-
there was no flow to his ebbs apparently. Like
Well,
from
come
her
on, she
side of the
she
story.
didn't. He didn't like consistently try the move. Like he was taking a break from it and then going back to it. It's similar to, if I can make an analogy to like if I was like let's say you're a long-term married person, right? And well, let's go this way first. If you're like with a girl for the first night, right? and you've been around the block a few times, right? And then she hasn't maybe been with as many partners, and you're with her, and all of a sudden your hands start to stray past her comfort zone, right?
Right.
And she goes, "What are you doing?" Right? That's what she says to you. "What are you doing?" What do you do?
You stop.
You quit touching her butthole.
Yeah, exactly. You stop, right?
How'd you make it all the way to her butthole?
Now, if you're in a long-term relationship, and that woman says to you, "What are you doing?" You're like, "I've been creeping towards your butthole for the last 12 years. You know goddamn well that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
You know that's what I'm doing."
Not tonight. Not tonight.
Yeah. Just you tell her right to her face, and that's what it is. You negotiate, and she says, "Well, I don't like that," and you're like, "Well, maybe you will like it if you just fucking listen."
If you just relax.
Yeah. Anyway, so we need to do a segment that we call Feedback. We got feedback.
We got feedback. It's feedback. Motherfucking feedback.
Welcome to Feedback. We got feedback. This week's feedback, as always, is brought to you by our good friends at Clean Flow.
Yes, clean.
Hey, Clean Flow.
And I think it's a time that we said why Charters is really not here. And it's because he took his job so seriously last time. And what he did was he let Clean Flow down. What Clean Flow's done is they've made us a video program. You can see these cameras. They're paid for by gosh darn Clean Flow funds. You know?
Thanks, Clean Flow.
That's what it is.
Best.
And all they ask is that Dave the Rooster Charters, week after week, provides them with a commercial that this man, that Mr. O, we're going to call him Mr. Clean Flow, he says all he wants is Dave Charters to do his ads. And every week, Charters fails,
It's a letdown.
right? 2 weeks in a row. This week, out of shame, I thought he canceled, but it turns out Charters had a terrible accident with Honey Goo products.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not what you think.
Oh.
He was doing repairs. This is what he told me.
Okay.
He was doing repairs around the house, and there was a lot of like products that he felt had gotten a little rusty,
Mm-hmm.
and he was trying to like get them to be like more free, like more lubricated hinges. He reached for his Honey Goo. One thing led to another. The can became very covered in the goo itself
Okay.
because Dave's very sloppy when he applies it.
Viscerous spraying.
One thing leads to another. Somehow the can became lodged in his ass, and it slipped through his fingers.
Man.
And he is now trying to get some forceps in there, I guess, with his wife in the kitchen and a flashlight, trying to get that fucker out of there.
Was
So
it-
all the best to Charters at home.
Desperate call tonight.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you
Wish
to
you the
Clean Flow
best,
product.
Dave.
You know, it shows you the efficiency of the Clean Flow product too, because of Honey Goo, because that like Dave's ass is like watertight.
That's a Polish ass.
That is a tight ass Pollock, you know, if I've ever seen one. Anyways, Charters get well soon. Hopefully, Teresa can get those things fished out for you.
Just relax.
And yeah, just take a deep breath. And we also have to give a good shout out to Norpac.
The beef people.
Good cue, Paul. Paul's right on it.
Nailed it.
Well done.
Norpac,
Beef people.
come on, in that mic, Paul. Norpac.
Beef people.
There we go. That's what we're looking for. That's enthusiasm we need. And Amazon, of course. You go to our Life from the Dutch Hall webpage, click on either of the Amazon banners. You might have to shut off that ad blocker to make it work. And do your Amazon shopping. Some of that money's going to come back and help the show. And we're going to need it because we have to buy a whole bunch of new shit to make this sound like Kevin made it sound today. And so if anyone can help us out, that's great. And actually, I want to give a shout out as part of our feedback segment to Ella Steppa Jones.
Hey.
I know Charles doesn't like to bring up Jones. He likes to keep her
Ella
Steppa,
Steppa, yeah.
right? But I got to tell you, Ella bought a Live from the Dutch Hall t-shirt.
Yes.
Wait.
I promise you, Ella, I am mailing that thing out in the morning. It's going to go to you. And because I've delayed, I'm going to throw in a can of Honey Goo.
Hey.
Wow.
It's
Clean
coming
Flow.
free of charge.
What's
From Clean
what's
Flow.
Honey Goo?
Honey Goo is like WD-40 kind of. I don't know.
way
Think
better.
except way better. Way better. Just lubes everything.
Mm-hmm.
I used it for my kitchen tap. This is true. And then I put it on because it was all like caked up with like that. Like turns like greeny like blue shit
Right.
everywhere. Yeah. I Honey Gooed it. Came off like a butter.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's true. Anyways, who else we got? Yarmy Electric.
Ah, yes.
Yarmy Electric. Oh, good God, Derek Yarmy. The man works his ass off.
He's busy.
And now, you know what else? You know, not only does this guy, he's doing things in the wintertime. You know what this guy probably would do for you? He's the type of guy that would be, not only would be a fireman, not only would be like a busy employer of a business, and also a father of countless number of children. I've lost count
12,
years
13.
ago. Yeah, there's so many, because all he does is plant deep and work hard. But then Derek Yarmy, he's the type of guy on a day like today, after he's done all those things, he come over and shovel your driveway and drink a half a bottle of whiskey with you. He
sure
finds the time for that, you know.
Smoke a whole pack of cigarettes too.
But what he won't do is come over. What he doesn't like to do is answer your fucking phone calls about the one time. Oh my God, I flicked my lights on, and all of a sudden I could see that the cat was on fire. Blah blah. I don't care, old lady. Derek Yarmy's fucking busy. Yarmy Electric, if we don't get it right the first time, we'll get it right the second time. And if we don't get it right the second time,
You can go fuck yourself.
that's right.
Yarmy Electric. Why is the cat on fire?
Yeah. Don't ask him. Don't ask
Bullshit.
Derek. He's got things to do and babies to make.
And planting deep.
Yeah.
Dig deep.
And I you know what? Also, we're getting in the doldrums of winter. You know, what's the opposite of dog days?
Cat days.
Cat days of winter.
Cat
I'm going to
days of
call it.
winter.
The cat day. We're in the cat days of winter. Things got a little. Things got a little. Things got a little bit boring this time of year. But you know what you can do to spice up your life? You can give us an email at livefromthedutchhall@gmail.com and hire Van Dyke Party Services. And what we'll do is send you, for whatever event you have, between 5 and 29 Van Dyke first cousins dressed in bright yellow jackets, and you're going to have the time of your life, guaranteed.
We will be fired up.
And all it's going to cost you, I like that, Michael. And all it's going to cost you is $100 of cold hard cash, plus all of our expenses, which I guarantee you will be dear. And if you're not 100% satisfied, we will return that $100. But those expenses have run through our bodies and potentially yours. Van Dyke Party Services,
Don't live your life in regret.
brought to you by Clean Flow. And that's it for ads.
Hey.
If you'd like to sponsor us, you know you can reach out at livefromthedutchhall@gmail.com. We appreciate all the help we can get. And now we just want to reach out to our listeners who give us feedback. And this week, we got some international feedback. Because our buddy Bruce Veltri, where's my phone, do you know? Is it around there? You know, because Bruce Veltri, you know Dr. Bruce?
Old Brucey.
Oh, where's my phone? This is really important for feedback. Shit. Well, I'm going to give you the condensed feedback version of this one. Bruce says he was in Dominican Republic listening to our show, and he said that he found it. I forget it now. Anyways, Bruce, thanks for the
You're a real good guy.
thanks for the email, but I can't find my goddamn phone.
Oh, thanks a lot, Bruce.
I'll tell you something about Ella Steppa. She sent us also a message when she ordered the T-shirt. She said, when you guys picked Walter Gretzky, you broke my heart.
Paul. That's
That's what she
Paul.
And I said, you know, I had nothing to do with it. Paul.
There's your
There's your phone, Pete.
It's somewhere.
I can hear it.
Everybody can hear
Somebody's
it.
listening and called it.
I did.
Oh, you found it. Yay!
Bingo.
Thank you.
Woo, we can do feedback right.
All right. So we got Ella Steppa said, you broke my heart. I said, Paul's got a black heart, and he will probably end up in hell for Walter Gretzky.
But also the winner.
Yeah, but he might win, too.
I might win.
So far, everybody is 0-0. No one picked the Cranberries girl. And anybody else die this week?
I don't know.
Tick, 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 tick.
I'm sure somebody did.
Okay, so Bruce. I'm going to go to Bruce here.
Good call.
So Mr. Veltri, who's in Dominican Republic, there he is. And he said, just listen to Live from the Dutch Hall while vacationing in the Dominican Republic.
Oh,
Was great
thanks,
to be in
Bruce.
the presence of the #1 fan, the Haitian dwarf,
Whoa.
or at least on the same island. I wouldn't set foot in that shithole Haiti.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a Trump.
Where Wyclef Jean ran for fucking leadership.
Haiti?
Yeah?
Did he win?
No.
One complaint: Kirk should have been excluded from the Deadpool. Come on, the bastard is 101 years old.
Fucking first pick overall.
Oh, yeah, number 1 draft pick in the whole pool, Kirk Douglas. He is on borrowed time. So that's from Bruce. And then Ella did that. And then we usually go to a lady. Can we do checking on the cheese, lady? So,
Oh, yeah.
we
Kev,
didn't
you just
practice
gonna,
that one.
Get on the ride symbol there.
So we have a lady that
Steve's
she
got
listens to us. She's from the second Mouse in Delhi. She likes to give us talk to us on
Cheese
Podbean.
lady, on the cheese lady, chicken on the cheese lady, always on the run. Chicken on the cheese lady, on the cheese lady, chicken on the cheese lady, always having fun.
This week, Teresa from the second Mouse says, a little late listening as I'm heading to Jamaica in the morning. Boom, shaka, bow, wow.
Boom, clap, ras, clap.
LOL. So
A
thank
lot
you.
of vacationers listening to the show.
Yeah. Yeah, people are going on vacation this
That's
time
great.
of year, and they listen to our show.
Have a
so,
drink for us.
Yeah, go down there in
Maybe we
Jamaica.
can name islands as the new drinking game, and they'll have the listeners that are down there will have a drink.
Yeah. I just like getting the listens from different countries. So when you go to that country, listen, download a show. And
Cuba.
You know who's still the holdouts in the States that listen live from the Dutch Hall?
Who's that, Pete?
There's 4 states that won't listen to our program.
Utah.
Huh? No, Utah's good. Utah's good. There's only four states that
Vermont?
No, Vermont's in.
Yes.
Yeah, the only ones are Maine. Yeah, Maine
Close to
doesn't like.
Canada.
They don't like us one bit. Alaska. Alaska doesn't like us.
Also close.
Yeah, you figure Alaska would like us. Like a Yukon listens to us. We had listeners in Whitehorse last week.
Really?
Yeah, you don't think about these things, but we do. and then the other 2 are North or South Dakota. They don't like us in Nebraska.
North Dakota, though, you got it down?
Yeah, North Dakota's cool.
Oh,
Cool.
cool.
Right up. What up, North Dakota?
We're all about North Dakota.
North Dakota.
Huh?
Drink North Dakota.
Drink. How come I didn't get a shot of the whiskey? How come everyone else got it but not me?
Now we can have another.
Oh, I think there was one over here for you, but then I drank it.
That makes sense. All right, so we will. We have one other guy to talk to every week. By the way, for buying the T-shirt and making the listeners aware that we do have T-shirts for sale, Ella Steppa Jones, you're the listener of the week.
You're the listener of the week. This is your week.
It's her week, Ella.
Yeah, you should sing that into that one. It would have.
Buy a T-shirt, people.
It's your week.
Take it on vacation. Buy a T-shirt. Take it on vacation.
Ella Steppa Jones.
There's one guy to talk to. He's a listener that's been with us since the very beginning of this program. He gives us feedback on iTunes every week. He's our good buddy, the Haitian Dwarf. Let's hear it for him.
Woo! 1, 2, 3, 4, hi ho, hi ho.
It's off to bed we go. My figure 4 will make you roar.
Hi ho, hi ho.
I did a different one.
In a figure 4, you'll beg for more.
I said, if in my figure 4, I'll make you roar.
Either works.
Yeah.
Ric Flair.
Woo!
Woo!
Well, the Haitian Dwarf. Oh, I like it. The Haitian Dwarf this week, he went out to iTunes and gave us some feedback. He entitled this feedback, Death Pool. And he gives us 5 stars. 5. And the Haitian Dwarf says, thanks for not picking me. And fuck charters. So thank you very much, Haitian Dwarf. That's it for feedback. You know, if you got to get a hold of us, we like it. We want to give a shout out to actually Carl Halstead and Carmina, too, for listening to the show. They gave us the Tide Pod idea.
Woo!
And they also gave us some good feedback on the show last week. So I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to get to it this week, but we will. But thank you very much for listening. And you go to Facebook, Live from the Dutch Hall Facebook. You go to our YouTube page, and you can subscribe there. You go to Twitter, Instagram, bullshit, all that, Snapchat, whatever you want to do. I still don't understand Snapchat, though. No, if you send me a picture of your face as a fucking deer, I don't care. Stop doing it. So,
You're so echoey.
yeah. So now's the time of the program where we get to talk to our guest.
Woo!
Our guest tonight.
Yes.
I've had the pleasure of working with at Bramsterdam Cafe, and I think I've worked with you a bunch of other places.
Oh,
We've done a lot of shows all over the place together. But he runs a show on Tuesday nights in Bramsterdam, and he also he has a special, as I said. Let's get it to camera here. Paul, you got the camera one for me? Put on the one there. No, me. Just do the one shot.
Come on, Paul.
Yeah, there.
There
This
you
one. It's Wally Warwick.
That's me.
Worse than Hitler. There he is right there.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for our guest tonight, Wally Warwick, everyone.
Woo! Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, so there we go. Wally, so I was saying to you, when I was a kid, I was a really, I enjoyed wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
For me, when I was a little kid, wrestling, when I saw the bad guy wrestlers, I thought that was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life. Like that people could go into a place and yell at make the people angry at them on purpose, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And the stuff they would say, like it just, as a kid, I thought it was hilarious, you know?
Especially foreigners.
What? Oh, like Iron Sheik?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, anyone who's foreign to America. Oh, watch out.
They're bad because
Yeah,
they're not
especially the Russians.
American. Yeah. At that time, they went through the Russians. They went through the Middle Easterns were bad.
Yeah. The Japanese were also bad.
Canadians were bad.
Canadians were pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, they had the different factions of Canadians that were bad.
Yeah, the Quebecers, the fucking.
So what got you into what attracted you to wrestling when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, what attracted me to wrestling was that my parents would tell me about all the times they had gone to see closed circuit broadcasts of WrestleMania at the Civic Center in Brantford.
Oh yeah.
Because they used to do the closed circuit broadcasts as kind of an alternative to pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So you could they would actually pile thousands of people into an arena just to watch it on a jumbotron.
Right.
Yeah.
And your parents were into it.
Yeah, and my parents were into it at the time, and they were all about Hulkamania. They went and saw a Hulkamania event at Exhibition Place.
Yeah.
Apparently, oh yeah.
Did you like Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, I was a huge Hulk Hogan fan as a kid.
Oh, never.
Yeah.
I was never a Hulk Hogan fan.
I would actually dig because my parents told me there's old shows that we taped off TV, so I would dig through their personal VHS collection to try and find stuff.
Risky business.
And then I found their wedding tape one time, and as I was watching it, they told me to not watch that. So I'm pretty sure it was my parents fucking on tape.
Oh.
But
you can't unwatch it.
All I wanted to find was they told me that they had Macho Man Randy Savage marrying Miss Elizabeth on tape somewhere.
Awesome.
I was looking for that shit, and then I found their wedding tape, and I was watching it, and they said, "Stop that." I'm pretty sure my parents have a fuck tape.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. It was when they were looking better. You know, they're younger.
For sure.
You'd be watching your young parents fuck in Back to the Future or something, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because you're not watching your old parents fuck. Nobody wants to see their old parents fuck. But, maybe if your parents are both good looking when they were young or whatever, you didn't really recognize them, it would be okay. Till the end, you're like, oh, geez, did I just whip off a batch to mom, you know? Anyways, I wanted to say I didn't like Hulk Hogan at all. I didn't like I didn't like any good guys, and I still don't.
Now,
I only like bad guys.
When
I was a kid, Roddy Piper was the king, man. That was my guy because he was so mouthy.
Oh yeah.
And then he was hilarious. Like the way he made fun of Jimmy Snuka to me was it was funny, you know. It's totally not appropriate by today's standards because you can't make fun of people for being you can't make fun of Polish Power Ivan Putski for being Polish and make a bunch of Polish jokes. You know that's offensive now. Even though we do it to Dave all the time. But anyways, I should set it up about because you're a comedian.
Yeah.
But you're also not just a fan of wrestling, but you've been involved more so than the average person.
I have been involved, yeah.
In wrestling.
There was a promotion that was short-lived in Brantford, run by a friend of mine, Bloody Bill Scullion. Look him up. He's like a hardcore wrestler. He's got a bunch of stories about. He used to actually travel the road with Edge, Christian, and Rhino.
Oh yeah, yeah.
back in the day, like before they ever.
And
got
he was
big
a
or
wrestler
anything.
too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's still to this day. I think he's living out Sudbury Way or something now. But he had this vision where he like opened up a wrestling school in Brantford, which wound up with only one student. And he was running a promotion out of it as well. And I went to the very first show with my son, who was 5 at the time. And I remember just watching the show and thinking the ring announcer sucked.
Yeah.
So through a friend of mine that was actually a teacher at the school and wrestling on the shows, Caitlin Diamond, I got a hold of this Bloody Bill Scullion guy and said like I'd be better as a ring announcer. So he brought me in. And then he came over to my house for dinner one night and just found out through my wife as he was leaving, like, oh, yeah, Wally always wanted to be a wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
So he was like, oh, all right. And then that same night, I went out and did a show in Toronto and started getting messages from Bill saying, like, what if you were to do one match? And I started freaking the fuck out, like, yes. I will do this just like one time, right? Because like my wife would not let me do it more than once, right?
Right.
And so we wound up one show. We set up an angle where it was going to lead to a match, and it was just like I was ring announcing these 2 shows in one day, and he had lost twice, and I kind of made fun of him over the mic, like after his second loss. So he called me into the ring.
Can you wait 1 second?
Yeah.
Tell me the story. I'm
Yeah.
gonna listen through that window while I'm taking a piss.
Okay.
Keep going on it.
Yeah.
That's all I can hear through that.
So the story is like that he was going to be in this hardcore match with a midget, and then he loses the match, and I make fun of him, and then in the end of it, because I've made fun of him, he calls me into the ring, he whips me into the ropes, gives me a huge fucking lariat, and then picks me up and gives me a sit-out powerbomb into a pile of thumbtacks. Wow. And
Thumbtacks.
yeah, and like you can find this video on the internet, Wally Warwick getting fucking powerbombed into thumbtacks, but the like it worked out kind of like I don't know if you'd call it like serendipitously or whatever, like that that like I took the move and we had practiced it a bunch, but we hadn't practiced it after he had just had a match, and he's a not in shape dude. He's not a very in shape dude. That's why he does hardcore wrestling, right? Because you just get to like kind of walk around a little bit and get hit with something. And then you walk around a little bit more and you hit the other guy with something, and then you both take out a fucking razor blade from your pockets, fucking cut your head open, and there you go. There's a wrestling match. It's fucking professional athletics.
Speaking of professional, here's Pete Van Dyke.
Yeah, here he is. But so we set this whole thing up, and he like the idea at first was he was gonna powerbomb me through a table, but for that same show, he had deathmatch wrestlers show up, and he only had one table.
Oh yeah.
He only had the one table because there was only a budget for so much. He was actually living inside of the wrestling school with a fucking pig and 2 dogs.
A pig.
Yes, he had a pig because he had bought a pig thinking that would be his valet to the ring because he thought he was going to get booked for a bunch of county fairs. Regardless. So the idea was gone that I could be powerbombed through a table because we wound up having a barbed wire table match for the main event.
Whoa! Right.
So
you needed the table.
Yeah. So right before that, we decided to do a segment where he's just been in a match and he just he either slammed somebody on the thumbtacks or he was just slammed on the thumbtacks. But either way, there's thumbtacks all over the ring.
Yeah.
Right. So I've made fun of him over the mic. He brings me into the ring and he fucking whips me into the ropes, gives me a huge fucking lariat, and then he gives me a sit-out powerbomb.
Lariat's like a clothesline, right?
Right. But it's more like you're just standing there and you just fucking like you actually like lean into it. Where a clothesline is just more like you have your arm out and the guy runs into it.
Did you have to do training for that?
Yes, I actually trained at his wrestling school for like 5 weeks straight, just to like get bumps down.
Yeah.
And he actually said that I was the quickest learner for like taking a bump.
Oh yeah.
Like just like I would flip and like land like the
You
idea,
gotta tuck your chin, right?
Yeah, the idea is you tuck your chin and you actually have your hands out and your palms slap the mat at the same time as your the soles of your feet hit the mat, so that like disperses all the pain like across your body.
Oh.
Yeah, so that like you don't take it on one spot, you know.
Right.
But we hadn't done this, like I was saying to the guys earlier, after he had already done a match, and he's a very out of shape dude, and like he gets winded easily, right? So I get into the ring, and like he goes to do the powerbomb spot, but he doesn't have enough strength to wait for me to do a sit up onto his shoulders. So as I'm coming up, he drops, and I wound up coming down on like the back of my neck.
Oh.
Like and
With tacks?
yeah, with the thumbtacks. But I like you remember like back in the day, I like had so much hair.
Yeah.
I had so much hair, and like yeah, I had so much hair to the point where I actually landed right on the back of my head in the tacks, and all the hair just protected me from it.
Oh.
So I didn't wind up with any thumbtacks in me. Looked like I fucking died. And it was to the point where like the referees from the show were coming in and like checking on me, like whispering in my ear, like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fucking okay. I'm selling."
Yeah. Don't they do that for every bump, like a hard bump? They ask if they're okay. You see the referees come down and whisper in everyone's ear.
Yeah,
someone's
like,
here.
It's,
for the party.
Oh, who is this?
Ah, yes.
Oh, it looks like El Grande Risteros Muscacos.
What is
Please.
going on?
Yeah, but why don't you grab the? Oh no, it's grab Mike's mic. He must be out having a piss. Yes.
He's still pissing.
Oh, Wally, this is a real treat for us.
okay.
Oh,
Hey.
yes. Oh,
Oh, you sound
I
a
am
little.
here for the party. I am Grande Moscacos.
You sound a bit different today, Muscacos. If you don't mind me asking.
I'm
you.
here for the wrestling party.
Are you
Grip it and rip it. Yes, we are macho men.
So are you still traveling the world, Rusteros Muscacos?
Oh, yes, I've been in a little town in southern Mexico where the drinks are cold and the wrestling is hot.
I can't really put my finger on what's different about you, Rustero.
I have been hitting the gym.
Oh, is that what it is? You seem a little bit. Yeah, you seem more. You seem a lot more fit than
Oh, yes,
the
I'm fit.
original.
I ride the bicycle many kilometers up and down the canals. I mean the oceans.
Yeah, see, you're Mexican, right?
Arriba.
This is a real treat for us, Grande
Yes, I
Rustero.
love the wrestling.
And man, I've never been to the part of Mexico that exactly sounds like your accent. I don't know.
Yes, I travel to the shows to fight, but I am from the north. La mama.
Ristero, I can't thank you enough for coming in.
Gosh, anytime better.
Any advice you want to give Wally for his wrestling career?
Yes, I have been listening outside in the cold. I love the stories.
Well,
Let's
excellent.
keep it rolling. I could have a smoke.
Thank you very much, El Rusteros. Grande Rusteros Moscacos, everybody. He's come to join us. So thank you very much.
Tell me some more stories.
Oh, you're able to stay for a while?
Just a minute or two.
Okay.
It
Well,
is cold.
stay as long as you like. You might have to get up if Mike comes back.
Thank you. I have to pee very bad.
Paul, 4-shot. There you go. You hit the 4 button, and then it'll go right back to that.
Shut up.
It's right at the bottom there. Anyways, where are we? Oh, sorry. We're talking Wally. I wanted to say, the one thing I think is amazing about wrestling is when you tell wrestling stories like that, especially in the indies and stuff like that, from the level that I'm at in my comedy career, the similarities between wrestlers and comedians is staggering. You know, the
Oh, I have
process
to
you have
pee.
to go through. Are you go?
We
you going for a
take
pee?
we take a lot less painkillers.
That is very much true. But the pecking order of like trying how to like make it as a independent and try to like get some notability.
Like you have to do it for no money.
Yeah, nothing, and you're
for
hurting
a
yourself.
long time. Yeah, and like it's far more extreme for them. Like they are really hurting themselves
Yeah,
for almost zero pay.
yeah,
And just for the hopes that someone notices you somewhere along the way. But even like now, the idea is with like WWE, once you make it to that point, like they do a physical on you and all that, and
Yeah.
like if you've endured too much wear and tear. By the time you get to them, you're fucking done. You're done.
Yeah.
And that's your life. Like, I don't know if you've read this, but apparently Paige
Yes.
just came back from a neck injury. She's actually
Eves is drunk. Oh, sorry.
She was injured on a house show, which is like what they call their untelevised shows.
Yeah.
Where Sasha Banks was sitting up on the top rope and in the corner, and like Paige was like playing to the crowd or whatever, and then she booted her in the back, like a double foot stomp to the back.
Yeah.
But Paige didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, and her head snapped back. Yeah.
And her head snapped back, and she couldn't feel her extremities. And now she's apparently been informed 2 weeks ago at Monday Night Raw that she will never be cleared to wrestle for WWE again.
Yeah.
She is 25 years old.
Oh shit, man. 25. That's
that's what the difference is. Like as a 25-year-old comic, you're never going to be told like, oh, you don't get cleared to do comedy ever again.
No.
Right?
No, that's true. That's true. There's that athlete aspect of it.
Oh yeah.
But
I feel so bad for her, especially because last year was filled with her having a broken neck, and then all of her sex tapes like leaked off of her iCloud.
Hey,
too.
Mike, I give you the tip on that sex tape for Paige, eh?
Yeah, you know who you should pass it to is somebody that likes a nice vampire-looking girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a vampire-looking girl.
She is.
But you gotta admit, those sex tapes were pretty awesome.
Well,
they were very good,
her.
especially when like Xavier Woods comes on the Divas title.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, he fucking jacks his dick right onto the Divas title, and then they fucking retired it. Don't tell me that's not because of the cum.
Oh yeah, you don't want to be holding around the old jizz title.
Yeah, the jizz belt.
Yeah, that's for sure. You know what we should do? Just to end the show, Wally, it was a pleasure to have you in here today. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to go around the room. I wanted to say, Steven, you've endured wrestling talk, amongst other things, right? But you are totally not a wrestling fan. You're not a sports fan at all. But for wrestling, I would say you're even less. Is that true?
They're all the same to me.
All the same. Wrestling and football are the same to you? Okay, so
they're all sports.
I understand that this quiz will not probably apply to you. Okay, so I'm going to change the rules for Steven. All Steve has to do is try to name a wrestler from the eras that we're going to talk about.
Nice.
Name a wrestler.
A wrestler.
For the rest of you, I'm expecting you to name your favorite wrestler from that era.
Okay.
And we'll just do a quick chat about those guys. So we'll start out with, I can only do the, I'm going to go pre-1990.
Okay.
For the first era, just because I'm a kid of the 80s pretty much, like where
fair.
I would have remembered starting wrestling. So this would be like the, anything like probably like Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, those Ultimate Warrior, those type of days.
You got to remember the NWA at that time, though.
Yeah, that was existing too.
Yeah.
And but you can also go back to historically to whatever wrestler, anything behind that time, like from like the oldest wrestler you can think of.
Yeah, it's pretty much all NWA at that point. WWF broke away from the NWA in the, I believe, in the 70s.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I don't give a shit. It says before the 90s, like before the 90s. That's what I'm talking about. So like anything that happened
from
historically.
Jesus to that.
Yeah, from Jesus, like Gorgeous George to like
Big Bang Theory.
Bruce the Barber Beefcake.
Yeah.
Oh.
To
So
just
our
before the
favorite.
Attitude Era, just before like the yeah. So anyone old style wrestlers before like Rock and Austin.
Can I start?
Yeah, you can start. Mike.
Macho Man.
Macho Man's your favorite?
The best promos, him and Miss Elizabeth. I don't know how you get much better than Macho Man.
Yeah, Macho Man had some great promos, and the thing, it goes back to the comedy and wrestling thing. If you watch Mean Gene and Macho Man,
The straight man.
Mean Gene's playing the role of straight man so perfectly, and Macho Man is just fucking with them, man. I love watching them try to crack Mean Gene. You know?
Yeah, you got to give credit to Gene Okerlund.
Yeah, and he always has those little cuts underneath of it that just set it off perfectly. Because Macho Man's doing like crazy shit, like he's pulling out creamers all over himself.
Cream of the crop.
Creamers?
Yeah, you ever see the cream of the crop rise to the top from Macho Man? Cream of the crop rise to the top.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he keeps pulling them out. He's got them hidden all over.
Tito Santana.
And he goes, "This is your cup of coffee in the big leagues."
Tito Santana.
Yeah. You didn't like
cream will
Tito.
rise. And he was like pulling him out of his wrists.
Yeah, his wristbands. He's got creamers in there.
But Gene Okerlund is
hilarious.
straight faced.
Yeah, he's putting them in his.
Oh,
jean-
he has to be
Yeah.
the entire time.
So yeah, that's my.
or
my
his
boy.
little surprise looks that Gene gives, like when he's like
I like.
reacting.
He always talks with his baby finger like this, and when he's real fucked up, he puts his tongue out like a lizard.
Yeah.
My favorite Mean Gene moments are the one I can't remember what event it was for, but like in the middle of an interview, he just turns. He's like, "Put that cigarette out."
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or the other one for I think it was SummerSlam '89 or '90 or something like that. They go to a backstage promo. It's Mean Gene Okerlund with Rick Rude,
Oh, yeah.
and then but the sign falls down, and Mean Gene just goes, "Oh fuck it." And then it goes right back to the announce crew. So fucking good.
That's good to see a guy break like that when he's cool.
He's so good at it. Yeah.
Wes, what about you when you're growing up or old time wrestlers?
I liked Legion of Doom.
Oh,
Yeah, the fucking
Hawk and
Road
Animal,
Warriors,
Road
Hawk and
Warriors.
Animal.
Nice answer.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
Awesome.
What a rush.
Kev, do you have one?
Well, I'm a '90s guy.
Oh yeah.
The only guy I can really think of is Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant's a good
counts.
one.
Oh,
yeah,
fuck
I
yeah.
saw Andre the Giant at Brantford Civic Center one time. He was doing Jesse the Body's body shop. He used to have a segment called the Body Shop.
Yeah.
And Andre the Giant was the guest there, and I remember like I was really close to him, but like it
At
was
the Civic Center.
at the Civic Center in Brantford. Yeah, it was like one of those spectacles. Like you going to see a spectacle. Like he was. He
Yeah,
really
they
was
would
something to
tape
see.
Maple Leaf Wrestling. At,
Maple Leaf Wrestling,
Brantford,
yeah.
Brantford Civic Center, yeah.
Yeah, I saw some good.
Good
match.
actor too, Andre.
What
Oh,
about
Princess
Hacksaw?
Bride.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh, nice.
You like Hacksaw Jim Duggan,
Oh,
Paul?
yeah.
Oh yeah, the winner of the first ever Royal Rumble.
Really?
1988, the year of my
Hacksaw.
birth.
Yeah,
Hamilton, Ontario, too.
Is he from Hamilton?
No. Hamilton, Ontario is where the very first Royal Rumble.
Really?
was held.
At Cops Coliseum?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And Hacksaw won. Hacksaw's good buddies with Iron Sheik. They have a great doing coke in a car store.
Yeah, except for that one time they really fucked up.
Yeah.
Coke and beers, yeah, when they were main eventing against each other.
Yeah. I'm going to go Roddy Piper for mine.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to go Roddy Piper. I think he was just the funniest guy going. And honorable mention to George Animal Steel.
Oh,
And,
that's what I was gonna say.
You're going to say, did you have one?
That was my guy.
Oh, George Animal. I'll
Oh,
give
there
you
you
credit
go,
for that.
Steve.
Passed away last year, eh? George Animal Steel, yeah.
Hey, you know who my pre-90s guy is?
Who?
It's no surprise. It's Ric Flair.
Oh, the Nature Boy.
Yeah.
He is actually the best.
He ran the 80s.
I never got to watch him, though, when I was a kid. I only get to watch him on YouTube now. When I was a kid, I just didn't get it. I'd see him in magazines.
Space Mountain.
You ever rides? He had great lines, always about getting lots of a pussy and
Oh,
like,
yeah.
riding around in
He got
limousines and stuff.
so much pussy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. That documentary, the 30 on 30,
Yeah.
him is like is really unbelievable when you hear him talk. How much of it is like believable is probably it seems unbelievable, but probably is believable. Like it probably really happened.
Oh, for sure.
You already said yours, or Paul? Are you going? You were in Hacksaw. Okay, so the next era is the Attitude Era. This would be when wrestling kind of became cool again, and it was the
Steve
it was
shaking
when it
his
was
head. Never.
not PG anymore. It was like kind of like you could get away with swearing.
Yeah,
and-
because ECW was on TV, and they wanted to emulate that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so they showed like girls getting their in their bra and panty matches and stuff
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
It was real kind of it was dirtier. It wasn't much for kids. But this era was like Rock, Steve Austin, Jericho, Triple H,
Undertaker.
yeah,
Shawn Michaels.
Mick Foley, and those type of guys. Yeah. So out of that era, so I just named them all. Damn it!
I was
Can
gonna
you
go
name
with the
one that isn't on
Undertaker.
that?
I was
Yes.
gonna say the Undertaker was.
Oh, good. Undertaker's on that list. Yeah,
Yeah, you're
Undertaker's
always
on
safe
that
with
list too. So
Undertaker.
Steve's already done. He's got
Wait,
it.
the non-wrestling guy says The Undertaker?
You took my guy.
Yeah.
I gotta go with Steve. I'm really not a wrestler.
Can you
gotta
name
pick
another
one
one?
of those.
I do have one. It hasn't been said for the 90s. Yeah, I've got one.
Okay.
Kane.
Kane.
Oh, shit.
Undertaker's brother.
Dude, that was a big fucking deal back in the day.
I was. The
Undertaker, you have a brother, Your house burned down when you were trying cigarettes, Undertaker.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I remember seeing that.
The explanation for the burning down of the Undertaker's parents' house was that he was outside with a friend trying cigarettes.
Oh, really? And then
Yeah.
it turns out his face wasn't even burned. He took off his mask, and he had kind of like soot on his face still
Yeah.
from it, like
Yeah.
when he was a kid. And then later on, he cleaned his face up, and then he was good.
And then it was corporate cane.
And then he had a white eye or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And then he wore a suit, and then
Yeah.
now he's
then
back
he
with
lit,
a mask.
he lit JR on fire.
That was no. Yeah.
Yeah, he lit JR on fire,
yeah.
and he he had the big thing with Shane McMahon where he fucking hooked up the car battery to his nuts.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. He strung up Shane McMahon by handcuffs on the ring post on the outside, and then he hooked up a car battery to his nuts and fucking turned it on.
It was a different show then. I remember
This was like 2003.
at one point in time. You remember when Undertaker crucified Stephanie McMahon?
Yeah.
And she was just like young at the time too,
Yeah.
so it was like Vince's
Oh
young
yeah.
daughter.
Had,
He's like,
had like
"You better-
just been fingered by Randy Savage.
oh, don't you're not. Or I don't like to think about it, but yeah, that's the rumor. I don't know. Was it just fingered though?
I don't know. I heard fingered. I heard fucked.
Yeah.
Either way.
you shouldn't do that to the boss's young daughter.
Yeah,
I think
when
she was
like 16.
Yeah, it was too young. Shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Anyways, Paul, do you have one from that era?
No.
No, you don't like The Rock. You don't like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No.
No, you don't like either of those. How about you, Wally?
Dude, Stone Cold Steve Austin all the way.
Yeah.
Every single week, as soon as you heard like the glass shatter, you knew you were in for something.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Stone Cold Steve Austin was the first a good guy that I could cheer for because he was kind of a bad guy. He was playing a bad guy.
Yeah, he was definitely a bad guy. But then the crowd finally like got on his side, and he would still be like, "Oh, I don't care if these people like me or not.
Yeah.
I'm the big Steve Austin.
That's
Give
a
me
new-
a beer."
That's the new hero now, eh? That's the new hero is the
Anti-hero.
villain. Yeah.
Yeah.
The more you don't care about shit is the more people like you, eh? Because everyone has to put up with so much shit. That's what it really is.
Right.
People were super into Steve Austin, and they were super into the NWO.
Who did you do one?
No.
Who's yours?
I'm gonna go with Steve Austin as well.
Steve
I
Austin
was
as
a
well.
huge Stone Cold fan. Like,
How
he
could
was
you
my
not
favorite.
be?
Yeah.
How could you not be?
That was when I
Throwing
watched
stunners
wrestling
down
the
on
most.
everybody.
See, I think that's when I watch wrestling the least.
I watched it the most then, and I.
You
fucking
watched
loved
wrestling
him.
the least
So I can't lie
during the
about it.
Attitude Era?
Yeah, because you're busy. He was busy with puss.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
During the Attitude Era, Paul was having
Eating
a great
pussy.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
He was
Yeah,
enjoying
I was actually
himself.
watching Monday Night Raw at that time.
Yeah.
Those years.
I don't know. From that, I don't know who I
Oh,
would
Goldberg too.
say. I didn't like Goldberg. I never liked Goldberg. I like guys that wrestle. Like I would say.
Diamond Dallas Page.
No, I'm gonna go with someone like. I always like to watch like a Chris Benoit or something like that. You know, I know
yeah.
you're not allowed to say that because he's his bad ending.
Right.
But isn't it that he had bad head injuries that resulted in that stuff that was in the movie about the football players
old
where
CTE
everyone
will
goes
get-
crazy
yeah,
at the
yeah.
end?
Yeah, CTE.
So can't you just can't people just forgive the guy for losing his mind? I mean, I know he killed his family, but like it's not like he was obviously sick. Don't you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, I know, but like it's a touchy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a touchy thing, right?
I know it's terrible, but I mean, I think it's an illness, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like-
It's an illness, and that's why they make the differentiation now. Where like Vince McMahon wound up after he was like killed off on TV. Remember the
Oh yeah, the
limo
limousine blew
explosion?
up, and then
Yeah, and they were supposed to do the tribute to Vince McMahon on Raw the next week, but Chris Benoit did what he did. The whole idea is now, like with the WWE Network, they show all of Chris Benoit's matches.
they will now.
Oh yeah,
All
for
right.
sure. I've got the WWE Network at home, and I watch Chris Benoit all the time. But at the same time, like they won't mention him on like live television.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They like
Even though Chris Jericho dedicated his New Japan Pro Wrestling debut to Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, just to wrap it up, modern day. If anybody, who Wes? Oh yeah, Wes. You were that Attitude Era.
Oh, I didn't really watch it too much.
You didn't either.
No.
Okay.
Fucking
Jason
serious.
Puss.
So this is
Woo!
modern day wrestling. Steve, can you name one modern day wrestler?
When did Donald Trump get into wrestling?
Around 2005, I think. It was WrestleMania 25
No, it doesn't count. You have to name an actual wrestler.
or
Guess
WrestleMania
so,
20.
Steve. You saw it on a video.
I sure did.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley was up against Donald Trump's
One
corner
second,
there.
Wally. 1 second. What?
I have nobody.
Not one person?
Not a single wrestler.
Okay. Let me think. Is there anything? Do you know any? Do you know like Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Do you know any?
Wait, the movie or
The movie.
Okay, it's not a wrestling.
There's a wrestler in it
Yeah,
that plays the one guy,
Drax.
Drax.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah. Okay. Steve loses.
Oh no, I lost it.
Mike, who's your favorite in wrestling today, or do you know any wrestlers?
Yeah,
from there?
I do because I've tried it again.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the odd time on a Monday night I'll flip it on, and I'm having a real hard time with it.
Oh yeah.
'Cause
I
it's
can't-
3 hours long.
I can't watch that shit.
3
anymore.
hours on
Oh,
every
and
Monday.
some of the segments are like so embarrassingly bad, right?
The GM's always on his phone.
I don't know. I like CM Punk when he was in there. He was a real dickhead.
Nice.
Yeah, he was.
So
a dickhead.
I like that guy.
Yeah. What, Wes? You don't know anyone?
I haven't watched it in years.
When's the last time you've seen it, do you think?
I'd have been 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
You too? I haven't seen a program? Wally, who do you like best now?
Now, shit. Probably the only guy to go with is either Brock Lesnar or AJ Styles. They're the most believable.
Yeah.
Of, like,
I'm going
wrestlers
Kevin
that are
fucking
around.
Owens.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
Kevin Owens is great. It's just like the most believable dudes are Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles.
For fighting style, you're right.
Yeah.
But for entertainment value, I'm with my brother on this one. Kevin Owens is hilarious.
Oh yeah.
And there's no one funnier. And and I'll give an honorable mention to this guy called. There's this new guy they got called Elias.
Yeah.
Who plays guitar.
Yeah.
And he's like an acoustic guitar, and he goes out at the beginning and he shits on every town he's in. So he'll like play some song and he'll like tell people to shut up and
He's
and
shitty
pay
at
attention.
guitar too, which
Yeah.
is the best part. And he's always got a capo on his fucking.
Yeah, and then he will just like tell you your town sucks and all your people are stupid and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Oh, I love it.
I-
And then the crowd goes fucking apeshit, and then he's got the old honky tonk man move where he'll smash you on the head with
Is
a
that
guitar.
a finishing move? That's great.
No, he won't do it all the time, but every once in a while, if
Yeah.
he needs to pull out the guitar, he breaks one of his babies over someone's head.
I took my kid to a house show over the holiday season, and Elias came out and did a song, and he actually covered "Hotline Bling" by
yeah,
Drake
yeah.
because we were in Toronto.
Yeah.
And then Kane came out and sang a song with him.
Oh yeah, I heard saying she'll be coming around
Yeah,
the mountain or something.
yeah, and then he fucking gives him a choke slam, and the whole segment's over. It was so good.
Well, actually, Wally, I want to thank you for coming in. We're way over time, and we'd like to thank everyone for waiting for us. I know we're late again today, but we paid a price to have good sound and also so I could pee before the show, and I don't have to do it once. And if you'd like to, go visit Wally's Facebook page and get a copy of Worse Than Hitler, or see him at a live show.
Facebook.com/Wally the Comic.
Wally the Comic. Thank you, Wally. And you can go check him out in Brantford on Tuesday nights at Bramsterdam Cafe on Colburn Street. And we got some shows coming up that I just wanted to plug quick. We will be having we have Wise Guy from Alberta. He's a battle rapper. He's coming in on February 1st. And if you want to check him out on YouTube, he's actually quite funny. It's almost like roast battle comedy set to like rap. It's not as aggressive as what I'm used to it. But I think the guy's pretty funny, so we're happy to have him in on February 1st. We're also working on the Wheel of Debauchery with or the Wheel of Dirtbags with 4 female comics coming in for that show. We're tentatively March 1st on that one. And we also are working on Hippo Z, I think they're called. It's like the reincarnation of Zeffler with Paul Etche and Rudy Hogg and the gang.
Okay.
They're talking about coming in February. So I just want to plug
Great.
those shows coming up in the future. And reach out to us and give us some feedback, everyone, on Facebook. Subscribe on iTunes. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Share the show and tell your friends. Till next week, CUNT. See you next Thursday. All right.
Thanks, Kev.
I got good news and bad news.
You did not do Audacity.
I did Audacity, but I missed the. We just have to do one verse maybe of the opener again.
Oh, boo. You want us to just do the whole thing?
What, the Shawn Michaels thing?
Yeah, you're going to have to sing high.
We're going to do that again.
One of these weeks we'll get it the first time.
I forget to turn that thing on all the time because I'm so concentrated.
At
on
least you caught it earlier.
Yeah, I caught it at the beginning of the song. Oh, wait, whenever you guys want.
You want us to just do the whole thing?
Oh, shit. Just stop the live feed.